The Dental Brief is brought to you by Omni Premier Marketing and the amazing guests who bring wisdom and advice that you can put to use to take your business and practices to the next level. Find us on Facebook and join the conversation. Get ready to grow because we are kicking off the next episode in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Dental Brief. Excited for today's guest and what we're going to talk about. We always love talking about ways to not only make more money in your practices, but keep more money in your practices. And I think this expert's going to help us with that. Without further ado, David Ranney. Say hello to everyone.
I wish it were David Ramsey.
Ranney?
It's Ranney. You got it. I wish Dave Ramsey is a little bit more famous than I. So I wish it were.
Yep. So that's, I guess, a pretty good slip there. So David Ranney, you're the vice president of sales with Rebalance.com, correct?
Yes, correct.
And I know that you guys do a terrific job of helping doctors keep, and all team members for that matter, keep more of the money that they actually earn. So we're going to jump into that in a second. But first, tell us how you guys started working in the healthcare field. How did you start working with dentists and physicians?
Yeah, I think I'll answer this from the lens of Rebalance as a firm. I joined Rebalance last year, but Rebalance really started 10 years ago as a wealth manager. So investment management, financial planning, advising folks on their own assets, their families' investments, et cetera. And so 10 years ago, some of our first clients were dentists. And as we had deeper conversations with them, we kind of heard that retirement was being left behind. So we really got deeper and provided more expertise around beyond just their personal wealth. But hey, what are you doing about retaining your employees? What are you doing about your own retirement? It should be more than just your small SEP or your small 401k and selling your practice. So there's ways to build it faster and better. And so that's how we've kind of evolved our relationships in the dental field. And it's really gone well. And I think it's one of the things that we act as is a fiduciary, which means in the client's best interest. It's not in Rebalance's best interest sometimes. And really that yields, I think, long-standing relationships. We love when we just make some suggestions that could be life-changing for people. And, a quick conversation can lead to hundreds of thousands of savings per year. So it's fun.
Yep. So I tell people all the time that, and I know it upsets some people that work in this field, that you should only work with fiduciary. If you have that choice, you should only work with a fiduciary because, like you said, they have a legal obligation to put their best interest over their own, which means if it's going to hurt them, but it's going to help you, that's what they legally have to do. So I think people that want to become fiduciaries already have that built in, right? They have that ethic and they have that character built in, or else they wouldn't do it. They would work in an area where they got to do whatever benefited them, regardless of how it affected their client. So
yeah, that's right. Right.
Yeah. So it to me, it's kind of like a no-brainer. That doesn't mean that I always myself do. There's some things that I play around with that are definitely not working with fiduciaries, but it's a very small amount of money, and it's more for fun than it is for actual long-term. You mentioned selling your practice, and I think this is something that I'm seeing happen a lot right now, that practices are sitting on the market longer than they used to. Real practices are very difficult for the owners that are even incredibly profitable, incredibly lucrative. And these are doctors that, fortunately, because of where they're located, generated a significant amount of wealth. But they're not bringing the type of money that they used to. And then if you do sell your practice for $1 million or $2 million, you have to do something with that money or you're going to lose it, right?
Yeah.
So most amount of wealth is created by most people in this country through investing. Is that an accurate statement?
Absolutely accurate. Absolutely. Yeah.
So let's talk about taxes a little bit, right? Because most people are more worried about what they're going to lose than what they're going to gain in life. And in this instance, and what you guys specialize, or one of the things that you guys specialize, is saving taxes, right?
Yeah, it is. And I think I've kind of looked at your podcast too, Patrick, and I think you've had some experts on the CPA side, which is a great partner for us as well as we partner with these dental practices. We want to include the CPA, trusted tax processing and advisor, in these conversations around retirement plans and setting up a plan. And it's often, sometimes I have to remind them, hey, you have to take care of yourself too. It's great that you're setting up a 401k plan for your employees and it's really generous, but let's take care of Dr. Jones or whoever it is, right? So make sure he or she is also set up for themselves and their family so that they can get to retirement in a ready fashion. I think the biggest way to do it is really to accelerate your savings and accelerate your retirement nest egg building up, right? So, and why do we have to? I think I love to take a step back, Patrick, if I could.
Yep.
What I've learned in talking with dentists is over the decades of the dentists that I talk to is in their 20s, they're in school, they get out of school in their early 30s, they become an associate, but then they're paying off their school debt. And then as they say, gosh, you know what, I could run my own practice, I could do it better. I have some neat ideas that I want to reach out to the population. They buy their own practice after they finish settling up their school debt, and now they incur some more debt with their purchase of their next practice. And so then they're getting into their low 40s and they have a small 401k balance, and they say, gosh, what's my retirement look like? So they get to maybe 45, 48, 50, 52, and I'll just sell the practice. And that's not what we do. We can obviously point them in directions of a lot of great experts in that world of selling. But what we try to do is just get them thinking about like, okay, my nest egg should be more than just selling my practice. And how do I, at age 45, accelerate what I already have? And there's things within 401k plans that you can do. You need to partner with an expert that has plan design expertise that really maximizes your contributions so your balance gets big really quickly. And then alongside, I think we're having tremendous success with cash balance plans, which it's kind of a hybrid of the old-fashioned pensions and the new 401ks of the more current day. And it really allows the dentist to get hundreds of thousands of dollars socked away into out of my taxes, right? So we work with the CPA, and if I can defer $200,000 into this cash balance plan per year for 10 years, that's about $2 million. That's not hard math for me to do right here. Plus some earnings along the way. You're looking at 2.8, 2.9, $3 million in addition to your 401k and selling your practice. And oh, by the way, I'm not, I'm really saving almost 50% of that because I'm not paying taxes on it, right? So that's the fun part of it when the dentist starts seeing, gosh, wait a minute, like I wrote a check for $160,000 last year. How do I reduce that? And that's where we come in with the CPA and say, look, cash balance exists, and you're a great fit for it. And maybe depending on ownership, depending on how they pay themselves and what they pay themselves and how many employees they have, really, it's a game changer for a lot of folks.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. And this is something I think, I do want to encourage the audience, go to the website, rebalance360.com. There's a ton of information on that website. Definitely, I started reading and I couldn't stop. Right? When you're looking at so many benefits that can help you on your journey in business. I want to shift the conversation a little bit, right? And I'm not even going to pretend for a second. A lot of what we're talking about is over my head, and for our listeners, it is too. And that's why they need to talk to an expert, right? Right. That no one listening to this show would allow you or would allow David or myself to do a crown for them, right? It's just not going to happen. Right?
That's right.
When they come to this stuff, talk to someone else. And again, I highly recommend fiduciaries. It makes a lot of sense. You mentioned keeping employee retention. I saw a video not too long ago that went viral, and it was someone retiring who had been in this dental practice for 20 or 30 years, and the dentist was handing them a big check that they didn't know they had coming on that day, and it blew up. The check was a significant amount of money, but over a 30-year period of time, it really wasn't that much money when you calculated what it was. Now, the dentist had to write a check out of their balance sheet somewhere, right, to pay for this. And I thought to myself when I watched this, like, wow, there had to be a better way to do this. Could you give them a lot more money? Can you send your employees into retirement with a significant amount of money while saving money yourself and not having to stroke that big check on that retirement day? So how can you use 401ks and investing to help keep your employees? And what can that look like? How can you better an employee's life through this?
Yeah, I think and you know this better than I, probably talking with the dentists that you consult with, is their biggest concern. The folks that I've spoke to is just, how do I keep the really good hygienist? How do I keep them, the associate dentist? because it's a transient workforce. So we need to provide a benefit structure that is competitive with the practice down the street. So, and typically that starts with health insurance, but the second most important benefit for people like us is a retirement package or plan. And also, I think if you give them a little ownership, what you said there is I liked how you said that, is that, their contributions are in here too. So as they contribute, you should also be with a partner that's going to give you the bang for the benefit spend that you're making, by making it very upfront and clear. Here's what you're accruing in the plan, and here's what I've contributed to you. Now, here's what you've contributed, and now, by the way, it's up to hundreds of thousands of dollars over time. So I think education. So how does it help for retention? It first helps for hiring. It helps for retention. You can put some vesting requirements within these employer contributions so that people have to stay longer to get fully vested in there. And then it's just really the education of, hey, you as an employee, a United States citizen, you have some ownership in your own retirement. So here's where you are and where you're going to get to when you're 65. And does that sound like it'll be enough? But maybe not. And so how can I, as the employee, make changes to that? Oh, I can actually contribute more. I can, do a bit better about my investments, that kind of thing. It just engenders a great dialogue for folks. You just need a really good partner, firm, whoever it is, to help you do that.
Yeah. I know on a platform like this, you can't give a dollar amount out there. I'm not even going to ask you to do that. But I do want you to speak a little bit to the affordability. I think a lot of people think bringing on something like this into their business, into their practice, is going to cost a fortune. And it's really shockingly inexpensive in my experience. What does that look like? Again, I don't want you to...
No, I think it's probably for administration fees under $5,000 per year. Right. And that's a business expense that can be written off as well. So when you think about I try to turn it around and say, like, the cost of not doing it is far greater. Right. If the cost of not setting up a retirement plan for myself and my employees, the cost of not considering cash balance for myself and my employees is far greater than the $5,000 to $8,000 per year that you may be spending on administration. Plus, if you do not already have a 401k plan or any retirement plan in existence with your firm or your practice, the United States government has actually provided a tax credit for up to $5,000 for the first 3 years of its existence. So their tax code is really encouraging folks to really set up these retirement plans for themselves and their employees. And you just need a good CPA partner to help you manage that, and and a good advisor like us. So,
I'm going to tell the audience in just a second how to reach out to you guys. We've talked about a fiduciary. Outside of working with a fiduciary, what are a couple of things that someone should look at, questions they should ask when they're trying to find an expert such as yourself to help them?
Yeah, I think that's really important. So I think experience working with people like me, right? So if I'm a dentist, I want to hear about other dentists that they've helped, other case studies that they've gone through for that dentist or for their dentist, and how they've helped them. I want to see the experience around the investment acumen within the firm. So if they are going to be kind of my investment partner, I'll need to make sure that there is a tried and true process, that they're not just providing kind of an off the shelf solution for one size fits all. Because it's if it's my practice and I've spent the blood money and the blood, sweat, and tears to build it, I want to make sure it's taken care of. And then I think the other thing is just comfort, right? Like it has to be a good relationship with every contact that you have. That's important for any buying decision. I think this is a buying decision. It's a big decision for a dentist to say, okay, you know what? I feel like a number when I call ABC firm. They don't know who I am. And so when I have a smaller, kind of more intimate relationship with a partner that is in it for my best interest, I feel better about it. And I think those are the three things that I would look for if I was a dentist.
These are 100% my words. This is not yours, David. This isn't from anyone at Rebalance 360, but I have a friend who was in your specialty who retired. I referred a client to him somehow retroactively, prior year or current year. They saved over $100,000, like literally put $100,000 cash in their pocket, like literally it was over $100,000. So this is something that you definitely have to explore. People have to explore. Obviously, every single practice is different. Financials are different across the board. States are different. To reach out to you, I know there's on the website, rebalance360.com, easy to find links, schedule a call with an advisor. There's a 30-minute free consultation that you offer. Is that
Sure.
correct?
Yeah.
What does that look like? What
Yeah, I
happens?
think you'll probably get to me when you schedule those. It's just really an introductory call. And what I lead with is, what are your priorities? How'd you get here? What's going on in your world that you're thinking about this? Because kudos to you that you are thinking about it. Check, that's one. You should be thinking about it. And then really just gathering information. And then maybe sprinkle. What I typically do is sprinkle in a little bit of commentary about Rebalance and what makes us different. But that's a long down the road. And honestly, when we have dental practices that consider us, it's a pretty long process, because they should be, for their responsibility under their own responsibilities within the retirement plan, they should be kind of checking their current solution, or if they don't have a solution, they should be looking into that on a regular basis every 1 to 2 years. So yeah, so they should be looking at others, not just Rebalance. And I kind of have a bit of a long track record in the world of retirement, so I can add some color and commentary around other competitor products and just help. Really, that's what we're in it for, to help people make some really good decisions for themselves.
It's awesome. One more time, the website's rebalance360.com. David Ranney, thanks for your time, man. Thanks for sharing. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Patrick. Appreciate it.